All right, joining us now is the Chief Executive Officer of Diaspora Public Relations, Jermaine Sanwoolu. Sanwoolu, exactly.
All right, it's good to have you.
Good to have you, Jermaine. Thank you very much for joining us on the show right now. Can you give us a perspective? How is the turnout of voters this morning so far?
Well, in the United Kingdom here, everyone is going out to vote. Some people are actually excited for an opportunity to bring about the much needed change that they've been desiring. And some people are actually experiencing what is called voter apathy. They have had so many elections in the past 2 years, and some of them are tired. But in general, people are excited. They want to vote and they want to make their voice heard in these elections.
Sanwoolu, now Theresa May says that this will be the most important election the country has had in her own lifetime. Why is this election so important to the rest of the world and indeed Africa, or even specifically Nigeria?
Well, I believe this is very, very important. Yes, it's going to define what way UK is going to take in the future. The Brexit negotiations are taking place just 11 days after these elections, 11 days from now. So whoever that they actually vote for, be it Theresa May or Jeremy Corbyn or the other leaders, will actually have a strong role to play when it comes to negotiating the Brexit. And the Brexit deal would actually influence Nigeria and other nations, because the Labour Party wants to actually remain in the single trade bracket and also the customs union, and they want to ensure that they have a good negotiation with them, while the Conservative Party led by Theresa May actually want to leave the agreement, you understand, want to leave the single market and customs union, and they actually want to be able to negotiate a fresh relationship with the European nations, 27 of them, and also other nations in the world. So nations such as Nigeria and other nations in other continents could begin to benefit from unilateral trade agreements that restricted UK from actually participating with them because they were stuck in the EU. So Nigeria will benefit from it, and I'm sure stronger ties will be made with other Commonwealth nations.
All right, Jermaine, what is influencing or impacting the voting pattern when we narrow it down to the ordinary or the real original British people? What is really impacting their voting patterns now?
Well, that's a great question, because everyone is asking that same question, that what is actually causing people to vote. First of all, in the local elections that were held some few weeks ago, what happened was we saw that the Conservative had an overwhelming sweep. And coming to this election, when Prime Minister Theresa May announced elections close to 7 weeks ago, everyone seemed that it was a sure banker that she was going to win. She was going to have an overwhelming win. But she came in saying that it was about strong and stable leadership, about Brexit. People saw this as a Brexit election, so she can actually have a stronger voice in negotiating Brexit. But after the terrorist attacks, everything changed. From a 25-point lead, it has narrowed down to almost just a 1-point lead, and the election is as close as ever. So we've had the shock of Donald Trump in the United States. We've had the shock of the Brexit. Who knows if we will have the shock of having a Jeremy Corbyn who was looked at as an underdog coming to take office. So a lot of things have to do. It's Brexit, it's security when it comes to terrorism, because people are saying that she's actually failed in her policies, been 7 years in the Home Secretary, that did not ensure enough policing, and there's been 20,000 cuts on police officers. That's one issue people are looking at. Security, how do they secure the UK? For the youths who are coming out passionately to vote right now, they are all concerned about the tuition grants, the maintenance grants that the Labour Party says they're going to be putting forth in place, and also scrapping the tuition fees. So a lot of things have to play, from the young people, from businesses who have corporation tax of just 17% under the Conservative government, to businesses that will be taxed more during the Labour government, and also old people, the dementia tax that they are talking about, who will be affected more in the Conservative government than the Labour government, which is more socialist, believing that the government should, and government's resources should take care of the people. So those are the major issues that are actually driving people's opinions. But right now, this is one of the most unpredictable elections in the UK, because everyone you ask, they are saying, I'm not sure. I used to vote Labour before, now I'm voting Conservatives. I used to vote Conservative before, but now I'm voting Labour. So it's divided, but it's exciting.
Yes, indeed, and of course, in the wake of the terror or terrorist attacks in the UK, Theresa May has actually come out to say, look, the UK is actually too tolerant of extremism, and she might have to review human rights laws if she, continues to be a British Prime Minister. She's been criticized for this statement. What do you think? How do you think this is actually going to play out at the ballot today?
Well, that's a very, very interesting comment that she actually made, and people looked at it in two ways. That why would she say such a thing? Human rights are universal. They've been here before terrorism, and they will be here after terrorism. So for her to come out and say that they may have to change the human rights just to be able to fight terrorism actually attracted a lot of criticisms. But we understand what she's talking about. They want to ensure stiffer measures and tougher policies in place so that people who are known to have terroristic tendencies, who are a threat to the United Kingdom, are actually curtailed. Now, when you talk about human rights, it's not just human rights in the physical level, but also in cyberspace, also on the internet. She's proposing that people like Facebook, WhatsApp, and the Twitter, the social media giants, actually let the government in to actually investigate. And the Labour Party and other people are saying this should not be so. There should be privacy of information, and the government should not be interfering in everything people are doing. So she made a very, very funny statement. I don't believe that human rights should actually be changed, but we do understand facing the terrorist trend that we're seeing in the United Kingdom is that tougher measures have to be employed. And she also has some supporters when you look at the UKIP, who are many of them are coming towards the Conservative because of some of our strong stance. But that's how it stands right now. We are hoping that human rights will be upheld, and the government, the state, will not imply things like martial law to take over the rights of human beings and start reigning supreme. So that's the balance we have to ensure when it comes to human rights.
All right. Jermaine Sanwoolu, CEO, Diaspora Public Relations, thank you for talking to TVC this morning.